Welcome to Sika Stories. We're so glad you're here. If you love captivating tales and intriguing narratives, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and get ready to dive into some amazing stories. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey with Sika Stories. In today's episode, I would tell you about Mariah Mross, the widow of Hollow's End ****. Mariah Mross had always been the heart of Hollow's End, a quaint village nestled deep within the dense forests of Maine. The village was the kind that time forgot, with cobblestone streets, ivy-covered cottages, and an ancient church whose bells tolled mournfully every evening. But beneath its picturesque facade, Hollow's End harbored dark secrets that the villagers spoke of only in hushed whispers. Mariah became a widow on a stormy autumn night, the kind of night when the wind howled like a banshee and the trees seemed to come alive, their gnarled branches scratching at the windows like skeletal fingers. Her husband, Jacob Mross, a burly woodsman with a hearty laugh and a kind heart, had ventured into the forest and never returned. Search parties found no trace of him, and it was as if he had been swallowed by the darkness itself. Mariah was left alone in their quaint, ivy-clad cottage at the edge of the village, with nothing but memories and a gnawing sense of dread. As winter descended, Mariah began to notice strange occurrences. The once warm and inviting cottage grew cold and unwelcoming. Shadows danced menacingly in the corners of her vision, and at night, she could hear the faint sound of whispering voices carried by the wind. The villagers, sympathetic but wary, avoided her cottage, claiming it was cursed. One particularly frigid evening, as Mariah huddled by the fireplace, a knock echoed through the empty house. She hesitated, heart pounding, before opening the door to find a cloaked figure standing on her doorstep. The stranger's face was hidden in the shadows, but his voice was smooth and chilling. "Mariah Mross," he intoned, "I bring a message from the beyond." Her breath caught in her throat. "Who are you?" she demanded, clutching her shawl tighter around her shoulders. "I am but a messenger," he replied, extending a skeletal hand that held a small, leather-bound book. "This belonged to your husband. It holds the answers you seek." Mariah took the book with trembling hands, and as the stranger melted into the darkness, she closed the door and bolted it tight. The fire crackled ominously as she opened the book, revealing page after page filled with Jacob's meticulous handwriting. His journal detailed his ventures into the forest, his discovery of an ancient, hidden grove, and the unsettling presence he felt there. The final entry sent a chill down her spine. "The grove is cursed. There is something here, watching, waiting. If I do not return, know that it has taken me." Determined to uncover the truth, Mariah resolved to venture into the forest herself. Armed with only a lantern and Jacob's journal, she set out under a moonless sky. The forest was a maze of twisted trees and tangled underbrush, and as she ventured deeper, the air grew colder, the shadows darker. Hours passed, and just as despair began to creep in, Mariah stumbled upon the grove described in Jacob's journal. It was an eerie, silent clearing, the trees forming a perfect circle around a stone altar covered in strange, ancient symbols. Her lantern flickered as she approached, and a cold wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it the faint sound of her husband's voice. "Mariah!" She spun around, but saw no one. Heart racing, she turned back to the altar and placed a trembling hand on its surface. The ground beneath her feet shifted, and suddenly, the earth opened up, swallowing her whole. Mariah tumbled into darkness, landing in a cavern lit by an eerie, phosphorescent glow. The walls were covered in strange, pulsating roots that seemed to be alive. As she stood, disoriented, a figure emerged from the shadows. "Jacob," she gasped. But it was not her husband. The creature before her was a grotesque parody of a human, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. It moved with unnatural grace, its voice a twisted mockery of Jacob's. "Mariah, my love," it hissed. "You've come at last." She backed away, but the creature moved faster, its fingers like claws wrapping around her wrist. "What are you?" she demanded, struggling against its grip. "I am the guardian of the grove," it replied. "Your husband sought forbidden knowledge, and now he is mine. And so are you." Mariah's heart pounded as she fought to free herself. "I won't let you take me," she screamed, reaching for the lantern she had dropped. With a desperate swing, she smashed it against the creature's head, engulfing it in flames. It shrieked in agony, releasing her as it writhed and twisted, the fire consuming its form. Seizing her chance, Mariah fled through the cavern, guided by the faint light filtering through the hole above. She clawed her way back to the surface, gasping for air as she emerged into the grove once more. The forest was silent, the presence she had felt now gone. Exhausted and shaken, Mariah made her way back to the village. The sun was rising, casting a warm, golden light over Hollow's End. The villagers, seeing her return, whispered amongst themselves, but none dared approach her. Weeks passed, and life in Hollow's End resumed its quiet, uneventful rhythm. Mariah's cottage, once cold and unwelcoming, seemed to warm with the coming of spring. The shadows that had haunted her were gone, and the whispering voices silenced. But Mariah knew the truth. The forest still held its secrets, and the grove remained a place of darkness and danger. She had escaped its grasp, but she could never forget the horror she had faced. And every night, as the church bells tolled, she would sit by the fire, the leather-bound journal clutched in her hands, and remember the warning written in her husband's final entry: "The grove is cursed. There is something here, watching, waiting." For Mariah Mross, the widow of Hollow's End, the forest would forever be a place of nightmares. Thanks for tuning into Sika Stories. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more captivating tales. Your support helps us keep bringing these stories to life. See you in the next episode.